If you're looking at selling your property in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how we get our properties ready for listings, going through the process of the actual photos themselves, and why Zillow Showcase could be beneficial for you as a home seller. So here we are at one of my latest listings. The client reached out to me about a week ago looking to sell quickly because they're about to get married, and they basically had enough of kind of having to deal with this current home. I think this is something that had been on the cards for a while because the property was actually in very good condition before we even came to take a look at it. So it was pretty much ready for photos. Now, even if your property isn't ready for photos, really what you want to do is sit down and make a little bit of a game plan with your agent. But with this property, what we want to highlight is its key features. So the home is built in 1990s. It's been meticulously taken care of by the owner. The only thing is he did smoke in the property. So on the first floor especially, there is that smell of smoke. We had to take this into account when we were pricing the property at where we wanted to sell it. Other amazing things about this home is that the roof was just done in the last couple of years. The water heater is new, and it's actually a 3-bedroom, 3 full-bathroom property. So it has great features that homeowners are going to love. One of the best things about this property is the outside, where it's on a 0.55 acre lot. But if you look behind me, you actually get this amazing view of the fields behind. So this home's been here since 1990. No one's built behind it. You basically feel like you have this expansive space behind you. So again, when doing listings, when you're doing photos, you are going to want to show off and highlight some of the key features like this on the property, not just inside the home itself. Now, let's say you had a deck like this. You could potentially, on your price point, do some staging. In this case, because it's a smaller deck, we didn't want to make it over cluttered. But when doing photos or touring people through the home, you want to show that they can sit on this deck and they can enjoy this wonderful view of the fields beyond. One of the most important things being a seller is when buyers pull up to your home is that curb appeal. They want to look at it and think, hey, this is somewhere I can live, somewhere I'm going to enjoy raising my family or bringing friends over to. Just simple things like remulching or making sure that the bushes have been cut back, that everything's looking nice and tidy, and the pathway's been swept, and even things like having your downspouts actually going away from the property and making sure that they aren't missing. These are all going to be things that buyers are going to notice. Now, let's say you've not been able to get the lawn mowed that week. They may be able to forgive you for a couple of things. However, if you've got messy bushes at the front, the grass hasn't been cut, you're missing downspouts, the siding hasn't been washed, all of those things added up together give a poor indication of how well you've been looking after the property. So by spending $500 or a few hours at the weekend, you can make a huge impact to what people are going to think when they first see your home. We're going to want to make sure that you have as much light coming into the room as possible. This is an older home and it does have a porch over the top. So making sure that you don't have big, heavy curtains over the top of it, and then that the blinds are nice and open. If you do have any additional lights, you would also make sure that those are turned on for the showrooms as well. And sometimes additional lamps can also make a difference. In your kitchen, please try and make sure you have the countertops as clear as possible. No one needs to see that you have a NutriBullet or an espresso machine. It just makes the property feel a lot cleaner, a lot simpler. And people can start to think about exactly where they're going to be able to put their own appliances in your space. Now, let's say you're partially moved out or most of your stuff is moved out. It may be an idea to stage a couple of the rooms, or if you have some extra furniture. For example, in this property, we have some really nice, tasteful furniture that goes with the style of the home. This definitely has more of that kind of characterful feel. So adding some furniture that's going to kind of enhance and again, make people fall in love with the feel and mood of the property is going to really help when it comes A, to those listing photos, and B, when they're walking through the home themselves. When it comes to bathrooms, of course, make sure they are actually clean. The amount of dirty bathrooms I've seen is actually kind of worrying, if I'm honest with you. You know, people love a good bathroom, they love a good kitchen. Make sure these areas are clear and clean and not full of clutter. Inside the shower stalls or baths, you don't want to have loads of different shower gels and shampoos and stuff. Remove them, put them outside of the room, put them in the linen closet, just so you can make sure that it looks nice and fresh and clean, ready for those new buyers. If you have pets or animals, make sure we deep clean those carpets. If there is wear and tear, people can forgive that. However, when there's a terrible smell and the carpets are ripped up, that is when people get a little less forgiving. There's nothing worse than seeing photos that look beautiful online and then you step into a house and it smells a bit funny and just feels a little bit run down. Let's say you have a home that's a little bit quirky or has that character. Really, again, highlight those features. Now, you may limit some buyers. However, if you can get 2 or 3 buyers that really love your home because it has that character, your agent should then be able to use that to negotiate you better terms from fewer potential offers. What type of day or weather you want to be shooting in. The sunny days may look really good for some of the outdoor shots. When we're inside, what you might find out is that, so the walls here are pretty dark. gray. When the person's trying to shoot and it's dark walls but very light outside, they're going to be battling against the light of the sunshine from outdoors. It's a little bit easier for the cameraman if it is a little bit overcast. You can get much more consistency throughout your photos as well. Here's another example of just some basic staging so when people come into the room, they get an idea of what it's for. Obviously, we know bedrooms are bedrooms, but if someone has particular size furniture, they can get an idea of scale for the room. You may give them some inspiration that they haven't thought about. Now, you don't want to over clutter the rooms either. This is probably on the borderline. It is a relatively large room. We have a good view out into the garden, but you don't want to have any more furniture than this. If you're able to, get the closets as tidy as possible. I'm not saying you have to empty everything out like this, but again, the kind of less clutter around the place, the more open, the more spacious it's going to feel, and the more inviting to new buyers. What's great about this particular home is that even though it has a kind of older style with that character, it has been very well looked after. The carpet's clean, or the trim's in good condition, and there's not really any peeling paint. One of the things that I would recommend doing if you can is if you have a room where the paint is flaking off the walls or it's particularly scratched up, definitely invest the time and effort into getting that room repainted, because even just a couple of rooms that are looking tatty can massively impact your buyer appeal and also the overall sales price.
Now I'm going to talk about one of the new features called Zillow Showcase and why it can help benefit you as a seller. If you want your home to stand out on Zillow and sell for top dollar, then let me show you a powerful upgrade. This is Zillow Showcase. Showcase is Zillow's premium listing experience. It gives you cinematic hero images, a room-by-room video layout, an interactive 3D floor plan, and it also elevates your placement into buyers' searches. The result means that Showcase listings are seen by 81% more page views, 80% more saves, 90% more shares. On my end, I can track your Showcase listings analytics in real time, and we can adjust the strategy to maximize the momentum. We can see how your property compares to other properties and if we need to make any adjustments regarding price. If you're looking at selling your home and want your home to be presented like this to serious buyers, book an appointment in the link below and I'll walk you through a plan that could help you make even more money selling your property.